For today's cup of coffee,
Cup of coffee.
now this does involve UFOs and aliens, but this is actually a rather tragic story.
Yeah.
And so, I'll respects to the individual that this
trauma.
is based around. It is a trauma story. And this comes from Daily Mail and is by Will Potter, July the 2nd of 2023. And he writes, more than 4 decades ago, Patrick McGuire became the laughingstock of his small Wyoming town where he appeared on national TV to claim that he had been abducted by aliens. After being placed under hypnosis live on the TV, or on the air, McGuire claimed that he had been visited by star people from outer space who mutilated his cattle, then warned him of an incoming apocalypse. That's always fun. McGuire's claims that became the subject of mockery, with his son Daniel Riedel writing in HuffPost this week that the farmer spiraled in alcoholism and despair after becoming obsessed by ideas of aliens and deep state cover-ups.
Huh.
In other words, the man understood the truth.
Yeah.
And that...
So he knew a lot of shit that people
yeah.
always wanted to know.
Well, he knew stuff that he never wanted to know.
Some people always wanted to know it, but the people who want to know it can't know it.
Well,
because if they got their knowledge, oh shit, all hell would break loose.
Yeah. It says that McGuire's TV appearance came in 1981 on NBC's primetime show That's Incredible, where he was placed under hypnosis by famed psychiatrist Dr. R. Leo Sprinkle. While under a trance, the farmer recounted in harrowing detail how he came face to face with star people, or aliens, who he claims made threats on his life. He claimed the saga began after finding a mutilated cow on his farm, which had, quote, the nose off, tongue out, and the sex organs gone, end quote. That's classic cattle mutilation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been going on for a long time. And it says when a spaceship landed on his Bulzer, Wyoming ranch, several other cows from his herd were also beamed to the sky. The year before, in an interview with ABC News, he also claimed to have been visited by aliens somewhere around 25 to 30 times. And Riedel writes that a witness to some of the landings was quoted as seeing 2 or 3 spacecrafts land at separate times, and added, quote, we stayed and watched the sun come up, and we saw 2 or 3 of them in daylight hovering in 2 separate places, end quote. So...
that's fucked up.
It is fucked up.
That is absolutely imagine the trauma that dude went through.
Sure, anybody that's had an abduction experience. The televised claims made him a pariah in his Wyoming town, but Riedel says his father's hypnotic confessions were far from attention-seeking. He recalled, quote, from the earliest points in my childhood, I was told that UFOs were nothing to make light of, end quote. He says his father would warn him and his brothers that the star people could take them at any moment, a source of nightmares for the youngsters for years. And it wasn't that the father was trying to use this as some kind of scare tactic on the kids.
Yeah.
From a lot of the accounts that I have heard over the years, it's not uncommon for the children of abductees to also be abducted. So
that's not right.
Well, it don't matter. It ain't a matter of fair on this. It's a matter that this is what can happen.
It's traumatized.
Sure it is. And that this man who had been traumatized with this, he was very frightened that a similar experience would happen to his kids. And it says this coupled with...
it's like the fact that they all turned against him.
Yeah. It says this was coupled with harrowing descriptions of 5 feet hairless beings with eyes like colorless pools hovered by his bedside, end quote. Details that Riedel admits were similar to the stereotypical alien look as seen in film and TV. Within just a few years of his fateful 15 minutes of fame, McGuire was destitute. He was a confused, sad, homeless man who had, by his own son's admission, become the town outcast. And that's just, my God, that's horrifying. In one incident recounted by Riedel, McGuire's decline saw him caught rifling through a classmate's garbage. When the classmate revealed the embarrassing moment the next day, the school erupted with laughter, including from Riedel himself.
But why was he rifling through the garbage?
Because he was destitute and homeless at this point. And so Riedel, being this man's son, here he is, that his father is basically has become considered the village idiot.
And see, that's not, it should be pitied. He should
Right.
be pitied, not,
Well, he was a
not
kid.
ridiculed.
He was a kid. And kids do what kids do. And that's where
kids are fucking cruel.
Yeah. And empathy is something that has to be taught. It is not always innate. And we've got evidence of that everywhere today. And that he said, despite his newfound respect for his father's UFO inclinations, that he and his brothers used to frequently mock McGuire when he would warn them about alien encounters. He wrote, quote, "My brothers and I laughed when our father talked about the implants and their accompanying pain. We laughed when he claimed he could barely walk after what the Star People did to him. We laughed when he said he was suing the government for the land they took from him, for destroying his life, for destroying our lives. We laughed. The world laughed," end quote. And Patrick McGuire passed away on May the 14th of 2009 at the age of 67 from cancer.
See, I would be raising an ear to what he was saying. I really would be.
Yeah. And writing 44 years after his father's TV appearance, Riedel said that the world's renewed fascination with UFOs has left him full of regret. He wrote, quote, "I'm the one who feels ashamed. How should we address our past mockery and ridicule if it turns out that, hidden in a desert base somewhere, there are indeed crafts, cadavers, and photographs of strange visitors," end quote. Even with Barack Obama claiming he has viewed UFO footage that he can't explain, many could argue McGuire didn't deserve to be so publicly ridiculed. Greater numbers of whistleblowers are coming forward with eerily similar tales of non-human-made aircrafts entering airspaces and leaving their witnesses as baffled as McGuire once was.
How does it feel to be ridiculed and shamed now, dude, for being a skeptic?
In July of 2023, a top attorney involved in bringing UFO whistleblowers to Congress revealed to DailyMail.com that the U.S. military had recovered a craft that could defy the laws of nature. Daniel Sheehan says that he was told the mind-boggling tale by a whistleblower who allegedly took part in an illegally undisclosed program retrieving crashed non-human spacecraft. They claimed the retrieval spacecraft distorted space and time and was bigger on the inside than it appeared from the outside. And I didn't cover those stories because I had like UFO burnout and fatigue at that point. But yeah, that was one of the things where they did appear small outside, but inside it was supposedly vast.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever these things are not confined to our laws and understanding of physics.
No, they're not.
But
like that's like that episode of that show that I keep telling about, and I cannot remember. It's like that they literally took their faces off, and it was literally like the universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you saw stars and shit.
Well, and that's just one of the things.
Swirling or whatever the fuck.
The cosmos, yeah. As far as people, our minds being able to conceive of some of these things. And where it could be very daunting at first, humans can adapt. Their brains are incredible and they can adapt quite quickly, especially if they can make sense and understand a thing.
Yeah.
You know, Whitley Strieber, I've heard it pronounced both ways, so I don't know. He is the main one that people, as far as the probing. And we all make fun of that. But this man was not making fun of the incident because he was raped. That's not humorous. And we still make fun of it, you know, as far as the probing and stuff, because we don't think of it as being as violent an act as Mr. Strieber experienced. as apparently Mr. McGuire experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you hear these people, these abductees' stories and their accounts, and you look at their faces while they're telling this stuff, you talk about trauma.
Yeah.
And a lot of this trauma was only available through hypnosis because it had been so repressed. And the details are just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There's this one guy that I have been listening to as far as Art Bell, because like I said, I sleep to some of these things. And he was the one that he called them Hubrids. Instead of hybrids, he called them Hubrids, because it was a matter of the collection of DNA and the mixing of alien DNA with human DNA.
That was a thing.
David Jacobs.
We knew it was a thing.
Sure. David Jacobs is this man's name. If I can remember to, I will go ahead and put a link to those Art Bell videos. What he's talking about is kind of horrifying, and he has worked with some of these abductees for years, working through them through hypnosis and stuff, and their trauma. That this was not for some kind of betterment of mankind. It was more almost like a replacement of mankind.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to outdo God.
Well, yeah. We've got several of them vying for, trying to destroy humanity first. But when you taint the DNA of a human, that's no longer a pure human. It's something else. It becomes a hybrid. And we've got lots of things trying to do that now, which is kind of horrifying. Dr. Jacobs, to hear him speak and the accounts that he has told, in some ways, and I wish that Mr. McGuire could have had access to Dr. Jacobs, because maybe Dr. Jacobs could have helped him. But to be in a position where you've had this traumatic experience and have no one believe you.
Yeah.
An entire town turn on you. And he's not the first one that the government had come in and took everything. And that was one of the men who spoke with Stephen Greer's group recently with the National Press. Go back earlier videos where we discussed this, and the link is there for that. Was talking about his father, because his father refused to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and the next day his father had lost everything. His father was a contractor.
Yeah.
But at least, I mean, it did affect the relationship between the father and son. And I think his father did end up homeless, that guy. And he himself ended up homeless at one point. He was the one that was the Army Ranger that somebody had hit him in the head right before he did a parachute jump with one of those big pieces of rigging and broke his neck.
Oh, shit.
Uh-huh. You gotta go back and listen to it. I mean, seriously, I have watched that conference at least 3 times, and will probably watch it more, because there's so much information in that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do have the MUFON conference coming up in August. I've still got you can watch it online, which is, of course, what we will do. But God bless, the memory and the spirit of Mr. McGuire and any of the other people that have had these experiences that have suffered in similar manners.
Yeah.
And the thing is, yes, I get it. His son, who was then a kid and is now an adult, to understand that he took part in breaking an already broken man who happened to be his father. And did it take that? Did it take this recent resurgence with the UFO things, when you've had a community that's been crying about this since the 50s, and that you've got this because of Mockingbird media and all this bunch of stuff? And Robert Kennedy Jr., he had done some kind of interview, and he was in a forum to expose the Mockingbird media, which all of us knew about, had known about for many, many years. And now you've got normies going, oh shit, this stuff is actually real. Maybe the tinfoil hat people are onto something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
About
we've made
time
those
y'all
damn.
listen to us.
Sometimes we can make those. Let's own those tinfoil hats. Damn, let's start a fashion trend with that shit.
Yeah. About time you listen
Claim
to
it.
many people.
Yeah.
To the many voices.
You know, even if somebody appears to have some kind of mental health problem, as long as they're not violent, and if they need somebody to listen to, find them somebody to listen that will listen to them.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, that job has often failed to us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, since I no longer do it professionally, I did it even before it was a professional thing.
The professional thing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not sorry that God got me out of that in a professional manner, because there's no way that I could tell people some of the stuff that they're like, oh, yeah, it's okay to do this. No, couldn't have done it.
No.
Wouldn't have done it. It was unethical. There's no paycheck that's worth telling somebody that it's okay to go out and harm themselves just because society says it's okay.
That's why they need to listen to the many voices that are screaming out at them, being like, don't fucking do it.
Right. But that's just, like I said, I have just deep empathy for Mr. McGuire. His son, kind of, sort of. Because it just recently that he found out, just because of these reports that he found out that what he did in joining in on the ridiculing of his father, that's when he found out that it was wrong. It's like, dude, you need to do a little bit of self-reflection more than just about the alien abduction there.
You know, you would think.
Mm-hmm.
You would think it would take years. It would be like, this is my father.
Mm-hmm.
I need to take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should actually go up to him and talk.
I don't know. Now, he has to live with it.
Yeah.
Like I said, that it took that for him to get a clue that what he did was horrible. Now, I don't care.
Shameful, isn't it?
Well, he said that he had to live with the shame. I don't know, on something like that, does shame really go deep enough?
Yeah, because it goes real deep.
Yeah. I don't know. It just, that's one of those to truly feel what his father felt during those times. But more than likely, his father would not want his son to feel the hurt that he did. So this was a bitter cup, but it was worth sharing with you all.
Ew.
Because if you
taste that, that shit in your mouth, that bitter,
is just a little bitter. And I think it's a wake-up call for all of us, that if you've got somebody that's hurting, don't necessarily just push them aside. Everybody's got a community where there are broken people. That does not mean that you have to run out there and try to be psychotherapist to them. In fact, don't do that, because some of these people can become aggressive. But to try to tell somebody that it is their job, and that includes local places of worship, that is supposed to be their job.
Yeah.
A lot of them's dropped the ball on that. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Good portion.
Because there's, within communities and stuff anymore, you've got people, as far as programs to help make sure that somebody that is homeless has basic needs, food, clothing, different things like that. And I know that we have one of our viewers, and that is our dear one, is what I usually call her, is Scrimshaw Rose. Yes, I am going to call you out on this.
Scrimshaw, what happened to...
What she did over the winter, was that she has this incredible talent for crochet.
Yeah.
And that she had crocheted hats and scarves for people who were in need, and for homeless people and stuff. And that's just one of the many reasons that we love her. We have some of the most phenomenal viewers in the world.
Hats too. She gave us some hats too.
She did. She shared with us. She shared her talent with us. And so, anytime...
I'm wearing one of the bracelets that she gave us.
Yeah. Kid has been wearing the tourmaline. He needs the tourmaline, and he appreciates the tourmaline.
Very much so.
Like I said, we have some of the coolest viewers on the planet. We may be a small pirate radio ghost ship, but by God, we're powerful. Anyhow, final thoughts.
We got some awesome ass viewers. Whatever happened to Toast?
Toast is out there. He just doesn't always comment. Toast is out there. We've got Demon Goddess. We've got some of those folks over there on Odyssey
Yeah.
that are just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
We've got, I think we picked up a new one over on Rumble the other day. I don't know. Rumble is really, really weird the way that they do stuff. Like if somebody makes a comment, I can't, it'll show up on my phone, but if I click on it, it goes away. It does not take me to the video to where I can respond to the comment.
That's weird.
It is weird.
My
So
phone doesn't show me notifications in
People-
general for YouTube.
people, no, this was on Rumble.
Oh.
So it's like for everybody, and Rumble's, it caught the overflow from a lot of the mega tubers and stuff like that when they got yeeted.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's fine. If you want to watch David Icke and Alex Jones and stuff like that, now you can watch Alex Jones live on Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
But they still got work to do. Odyssey, I love those folks. BitChute, I love those guys too. YouTube, we are just lost, and we're in the mini microcosm because we do stuff that other people don't,
Yeah.
and we refuse to play by the rules, which is why we're Micro Mini and Pirate Radio, and yeah.
We ain't pirate. Well, we pirate YouTube in a
It
way.
is. It's Pirate Radio Podcast for those who need binary code. We don't actually have. We're not breaking FCC rules
No.
yet.
Yet. Yet. Just wait, motherfucker. We're gonna get a car radio. Beep, beep, motherfucker.
You never know. So those are your final thoughts on Mr. McGuire
Yeah.
and believing people. Just be kind to
It's
people.
about
My
time.
God.
It's about time people are waking up,
Yeah.
opening their eyes.
Yeah.
But is it too late?
Well, for some of these people,
I don't think it is.
For some of these people that suffered for so many years, I don't know that anything can make that up. I mean, just for somebody to sit there and go, you were right on something that they knew that they were right about for, since the beginning, it just doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's hope.
Maybe. Let's hope so. Treat others the way that you would like to be treated.
That's literally the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Would you want to be mocked and ridiculed if something happened to you
Yeah.
and you were acting weird and could not explain it properly like he could?
Right. Never hurts to be kind. But also don't let your kindness override your common sense, because you do have people that will take advantage of that these days, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's where you have to have some discernment. Anyhow, if you've had supernatural paranormal experiences, if you've had encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, you can send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. And the email address will be there in the description box, as will link to the article.
Yes. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. Thank you all and have a good.
Know that you're loved.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Each and every day, know that you're loved.
Yes.
And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cut.
Uh-huh.
Bye.
Bye.